Hi folks, what a lovely day. Now, back in the spring, I came out with the camera and filmed some trees without any leaves on. And I set you a little challenge to see whether you could identify them. So we're now in June and it's time for me to tell you the answers. So hopefully I can remember the trees that we looked at before. So I'm going to go through them all and show you them. Right, first of all, number one, this one. More of a shrub really than a tree, I suppose, but it's in your tree book. And the distinctive thing about this one is that, whoops, if I get this branch up here, for example, can you see on this there are great big thorns. So this is a thorn, and there are only two types of thorn commonly seen in Cornwall. And the way to distinguish them is by the shape of their leaves. There are some other diagnostic features that will tell them apart, but leaves now this time of year are a really good way of telling them apart. So this one has got an oval leaf. You see that? A little bit of a toothed edge, but basically an oval shape, and that makes this one blackthorn. I will show you the other one a little bit later on. So number one, blackthorn. Right, the second tree that we looked at. Apologies for the wind noise, just a little bit of wind as I'm coming around the corner here. I'll try and get tucked into the tree so you can hear what I'm saying. So this next tree, quite a common one in Cornwall. It's not a native. It's been here for a few hundred years perhaps, so you might call it naturalised. You find it very commonly, especially down here in West Cornwall in Penwith, where we are now. So, quite a distinctive leaf. Seen that one before? So that one you would call a lobed leaf. Actually, that one's lost a little piece off it. Let's get another nicer one. Oh, they're looking like they're getting munched. That one's a good one. Right, there we are. It looks like a maple leaf, and that is a good clue because this is in the maple family. This is sycamore. So quite a large, tall, strong looking tree, smooth bark, very common in West Cornwall. Right, we're going to head over to Tony's Woods. Hopefully it won't be so windy once we get into the woods, and rather than keep nattering away, I'll stop filming for a minute until we get to the woods. We haven't quite made it to the woods yet, but I've been distracted by something that is quite exciting. So I'm just going to show you the signs of summer. So heathers are coming into flower. This lovely one is bell heather, and this is usually the first one to come into flower. That lovely purple colour. And then also this is the first ones I've seen this year. This is cross-leaved heath. This is a lovely pinky coloured heather, which show that it's a little bit damp in this area. So there we go, a couple of bonus plants. Right, I must stop getting distracted and get us into the woods. Okay, we're now on the edge of Tony's Woods, a little patch of woodland on the side of Sanctuary Beacon here, and I think the sycamore was number 2, and the third tree that I showed you, if I remember rightly, was this one. So the clue I gave you with these long whippy bits here, and I said I think almost as if you could make baskets with it. So this is, have a look at some of the leaves. Get those ones to come off. This is willow, and there are quite a few willows The ones that you see most commonly, I think, in this neck of the woods this is grey willow, or sallow it's sometimes called. It's the willows are quite confusing, but there's a group of them, the sallow sort of related ones. There's one called goat willow, which looks very, I suppose, superficially similar to this, but the leaves are larger. They almost look like apple leaves to me. So this one with these smaller leaves is grey willow. There is another type of willow which is closely related, which has a little lobe at the bottom of the leaves called eared willow. This hasn't got that, so this is definitely grey willow. So that separates it out from all of the willows that have the long slender leaves, like white willow and the sort of cultivated varieties as well. So quite low growing, quite sort of gnarly, twisty branches, rough bark, likes it where it's damp, very common here in West Cornwall. So grey willow. We're actually in this little patch of all the trees around here are grey willow, a little patch of the habitats known as willow carr. So willow, grey willow number 3, and we'll head over to, I'm just going to get through here without banging my head, to number 4. Where is it? Oh, there we go, I can see it ahead. Beautiful old trees around here. Right, we're not looking at this one. This is another one of number 2, another sycamore. We are looking at this tree. So there's a giveaway. So this tree has what are known as compound leaves. So let's take one there. That is a leaf made up of lots of leaflets. It's an individual leaf. It's got a leaf stalk in the middle, and the distinctive thing are the flowers. So this is elder, and that's an elder flower. Later on, of course, that will turn into berries that you could make into jam or all sorts of other nice things. But yeah, so this one, number 4, is elder. And now we'll go into the woods itself. Whoops. Quite a lot more willow around, and then quite a lovely tall shady sycamore here with a patch of blackthorn behind, blackthorn scrub over there in the distance. Interesting bank, some sort of archaeological feature. Oops. Oh, right, I didn't mention this tree to you, so we'll ignore this one, even though it's quite interesting. We will see another one a bit later on. Right, this was the tree we looked at next. So interesting in its growth pattern. Can you see it's got multiple stems coming up from the base, which suggests that this tree might have been coppiced, cut down at the base at some point in the past. A few trees, well, quite a lot of trees will regrow in this manner, but not as straight and as springy as this. This is a lovely tree for making things with. But the distinctive thing, the thing that helps you to identify it, I guess, are the leaves. So very large, quite rough, quite hairy, and then quite blunt with this very jagged edge, and then a little pointy, I think they call it a drip tip. So these tell me that this is hazel. And then after hazel, I think that was number 4, no, number 5. So this one was number 6. This one possibly, I think, is the most difficult. So leaves are quite similar, I suppose, to hazel. Let's do a comparison. So bring you a bit nearer. So we've got that one and that one. See those two? But the thing about this one tells me it's not a hazel. The leaves aren't as hairy, and they haven't got that tip, that pointy tip, that drip tip, I called it. They've got a very blunt end to it. So that is distinctive, and then there's another thing which clinches it. On this tree, you get these things. And these are seeds, floating seeds. They look like cones, so you might call them cones. And this is a tree called alder. Quite common to see this by water because those seeds are designed to float. So hazel and alder, possibly quite easy. You could possibly confuse them. But if you see those cones, that means it's definitely alder. Another one here, look. See the cones, the seeds. Okay, on we go. Oh, another sycamore. There's the fruits, little helicopters. More hazel. Oh, it's a little bit overgrown. Now, did I show you that one or that one? I can't remember. That one's in sunlight, so I'll show it to you. Two the same. So, smooth grey bark, and this tree has distinctive black buds. It's one of the last ones to come into leaf, and sadly we're worried about this one because there's a disease which is heading its way, which I think will start affecting the trees down this way. Not sure whether this one's got it or not. Anyway, the way you recognise this tree, it's a compound leaf. So those aren't individual leaves, those are divided. The whole thing is one leaf with a stalk in the centre, and you can see that because it's soft, it's not woody, it's not like a twig. So that is the centre of the leaf. So this is a compound leaf. So a compound leaf, black buds, smooth pale bark, tells me it's ash. Well, that's an easy one to recognise at any time of year because of these black buds. And let's hope it doesn't fare too badly with the disease. Ash dieback it's known as. Right, I think that might have been number 7. 2 to go. So we've got another thorn. So this one, instead of having oval leaves, the leaves are divided a little bit into lobes. Can you see that? So quite different to the blackthorn that we saw at the beginning. So this one is known as hawthorn. The thorns are a little bit smaller. Don't know if you can see that just there. Still quite sharp. When I was a youngster I had one of these in the garden and I always used to get jabbed by these. So quite sharp but quite a bit smaller, the thorns. Rough bark, paler bark, but now the leaves are out. That's the thing that tells me definitely this is hawthorn. Last month it was a mass of beautiful white flowers, and the flowers are now turning into the fruits, just starting to form. Can you see those? Still small and green, but those will be distinctive and bright red berries later on in the year. Right, last one. Let's see if we can find it. Right, just as I was about to film the last tree, something funny happened to the camera. The camera glitched out on me, so I've had to come back. It's a couple of days later now. So we're going to have a look at tree number 9. Should have done 10, shouldn't I, really? That would have been a nicer round number, but I didn't. I did 9. So the last tree, to show you, is just over here. I think you might be able to recognise this one quite easily by the leaf. So let's have a look at this one. Specimen. Oh, 2 leaves there. Recognise that one, folks? Quite an easy one. Those distinctive lobes tell you that this is an oak tree. So oaks are, there's two native species, the sessile oak and the English oak, and unfortunately they hybridize, so you do get a little bit of overlap in the characteristics. It's to do with the length of the stalk that the acorn grows on, and also the leaf stalk as well. So I'm not going to take you any further than oak. So oak is the genus, and that is near enough. Just while I'm here, I'll show you this one. This one I think is a, well, I know is a non-native. Can you see the difference in those leaves? And I think this one might be Turkey oak. It's quite common, quite widely planted. So I don't know if I'll let you have a long enough look there. See the difference in the leaf shape? But there are quite a few different varieties of oak that are found in parks and around the place. But yes, the native ones, there's just the 2. Okay, so that's the end of our little tree identification journey. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll talk to you again.